Good morning. So, you know how sometimes, I don't know, if you're anything like me, early in the morning that you are not quite out of bed, and that's when all these amazing ideas come with so much clarity. It's like, wow, I've got like 10 speeches and I know exactly what I want to say to this person, and I just had this beautiful revelation about this thing. And I am blessed this morning to be waking up in my tent, looking at this beautiful scene here on the top of my tent. It kind of looks like a kite to me. And then the trees and the light gently filtering in through the trees. It's interesting to hear my own voice right now because I don't usually talk so much just straight in the morning, and my voice has kind of a lower rumbly, grumbly kind of tone, which I like. But I found myself thinking this morning about something I like to think about a lot, which is why I sing in syllables. And by syllables, I mean just any shape that my mouth chooses to take, any consonant combined with any vowel. And sometimes when people hear me sing like this, they're like, what language are you singing in, or what is that? And it's really just gibberish or syllables that come in the moment, and they come through the sound that wants to come out of my mouth. It's not like I'm thinking about what kind of syllable to make. Sometimes I do that in my practice. But when I'm just singing extemporaneously, just singing freely, then so much of what wants to come out of my body just organically ends up making basically a spur of the moment language that is not just, it's not just expressing the sound, but it's expressing whatever is in my heart, whatever I'm feeling, whatever I want to say. And I like thinking about how all languages essentially formed in this way. Like, not only, well, I think of it this way, that all these languages were born out of place, out of the relationship that people had with the land where they were. And sounds get tired when you're holding up a phone in bed. It's nice to talk in bed. Right. I'm going to stick it up there. Yeah, so they were formed out of the land, out of everything that the entire medium that those cultures and those people existed in. The trees or the lack thereof, the rain or the dryness, the bird song, whether there were mountains or not, and the softness of the ground, the other animals that were around, the plants, the taste of the plants. All of these things go into shaping the humans that live in place, and then essentially shaping the sound. So when I hear all the different languages, so many different languages with so many different nuances, I like to think that they are, in essence, an ancient song of a place and of an ancient relationship to that place. And of course, those languages have changed with time as the relationships with place have changed. But in a way, language changes a little more slowly than our cultures seem to evolve and change, especially now when things are changing so quickly and we still have the same language that we had a few hundred years ago or more. But what I think is really amazing is that there are still these sounds and these syllables that are universal, that you'll go to all these different cultures. And for example, M and ma, or something starting with M, is used to call mother in so many languages. And these shapes that our mouth make, and da and ba, it's like they're the same or similar in so many cultures because they are inherently coming out of a certain relationship, and also, formed, I guess, as babies, when we're babies are making some of their first sounds, and ma is like the first sound that we make, and it ends up being sort of like a calling to mother, or calling back to mother. And of course, there's our human mothers and our earth mothers, and so it's like that syllable ma is like a return to mother, or calling to mother. But then there's so many syllables that are completely different and used completely differently, and whole entire shapes of the mouth and the breath and the use of breath that are made completely differently in different cultures. And I find that when I start to just allow those shapes and sounds to be as free as they possibly can while I'm singing, and of course, I say as free as they possibly can because my entire framework is shaped by the English language. So of course there's going to be sounds that I naturally gravitate towards more than if I spoke another language from birth. But it's amazing how when opening up that space to play with syllables, sometimes I make sounds that are not from this language, and I wonder if it's my Ukrainian ancestry or something way back there, or something else that's coming through. So I am really excited about inviting people to start to play with syllables more as a way to explore voice and relationship with music and with place, and so much more. And I am going to start posting some of the songs that come through that are completely in this syllabic symphony of whatever sounds want to come through for that particular melody, for that particular time, for that particular way I'm feeling, for that particular place that I'm in. And I'll admit there's been some questioning for me. It's like, oh, why did I stop singing with words? And wouldn't people want to hear this more if there were words that made some sort of a statement or something for, people are just used to listening to music with words. And if music doesn't have words, then it's instrumental. And that's the thing, I think, is that when I sing, it's instrumental. It's not necessarily like I'm composing a song or writing a song. It's more like I'm jamming out on my own body's instruments. Well, not necessarily like jamming out. Jamming out sometimes feels like it's a very just internal process. And a lot of times when I'm singing, I am really tuning in to my surroundings. Like right now, I hear the babbling brook. I see the mosquitoes outside my tent. The sun is just sort of peeking behind the trees in a way where I can, like right now I'm looking directly at the sun, but it's not hurting my eyes because it's covered by these beautiful trees that are all around me. And the air is really fresh and clean, and there's a way about this place, about this elevation, about this mountain, about the proximity to Mount Hood and where Mount Hood is in relation to this place, to where the water is coming from, and all of that. So I mean, this is me talking about it, but when I sing to it or sing with it, I'm just tuning in to the place. And I'm allowing whatever song or sound wants to come. And the syllables, the sounds, the consonants and the vowels that come through in a multitude of different combinations that sometimes surprise me, that's kind of like the form of the melody or the flowering of it, or I see it kind of like a flowering. Like if there's a plant and there's all this life energy running through the plant and is growing and is growing and is growing, and then it starts to make a bud and make a flower, and there's something about that reminds me of the syllable, the way each word that I'm speaking right now has these bookmarks, in a sense, that are containing the beauty of the breath and of that life energy that's just like coming through. And so there's a lot more that could be said about this, but I think I'm gonna leave it at that for now, and maybe get out of my tent, maybe not. The mosquitoes are out there ready to welcome me, and Bravo's out there too, ready to guard my camp from anybody that might be passing by on the road. Thanks for tuning in. I have not made many videos of me talking to people that are not right in front of my face, and this is kind of exciting. I had a lot, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, and I really appreciate it. kind of nice waking up in a tent outside because you're already outside. So you could kind of get away with lounging around in bed for a little bit longer because the outside is in and the inside is out. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and also I would love to sing with you sometime and play with syllables and all sorts of other things. And I hope you have a beautiful day.